Well, unfortunately, the biggest story coming out of Kansas City comes from the plaza, and it's not good. Once again, and I feel like this has been, unfortunately, a common theme here in recent months, and that is violence on the plaza and what it means for the businesses down there and the restaurants down there. In a world that we have so many options, the plaza's trying to figure out, how do we get people down here to wine and dine and shop? And over the weekend, you had a 14-year-old getting shot. Thank goodness, as far as we know, he's got non-life-threatening injuries. But it's another black eye for what was once an incredible entertainment district here in town. So Bill Teel is Kansas City Restaurant Association president. I wanted to get the perspective of somebody who is talking to these restaurants in town, and specifically down in the plaza, and what they're saying and what they feel they need and how they're reacting to what has been a tough few months. Bill, good morning. Thanks for joining us on KCMO.
Good morning. Good to be here.
So let's just start off, Bill, what you're hearing from restaurateurs and managers. I know there's a lot of corporate restaurants down there on the plaza in particular, but what are they saying to you? What has their reaction been here over the summer?
Well, so far over the summer, there hasn't been a huge reaction from restaurants regarding the incidents there. Business has been good, but and so that helps. But I do think if this continues, it's going to be a bigger concern for restaurants, and it's going to be a big problem.
So you're saying right now, I know Chick-fil-A, they shut down, or no, it wasn't Chick-fil-A. Who was it over the summer?
Shack.
Shake Shack, of course. That they shut down early for the weekend nights because they were having some issues there. But you're saying that by and large, business has not been down for these restaurants on the plaza this summer.
That's true. But when you talk about a place like Shake Shack, where people can kind of hang out and crowds can gather, that can be a problem, more so than sit-down restaurants. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it wouldn't hurt to have that addressed.
Okay.
I don't think it's good where you have crowds gather for no purpose other than just to hang out.
Yeah. Okay. That is different than having actually, a sit-down kind of atmosphere. But have you heard from any of these folks, like, whether it's the corporate ones, which I know are the majority, or maybe some of the local ones that are still there, do they bring to your attention, hey, I mean, this kind of news is not good for us? We know how it's impacted Westport, of course, some of the issues there. Are they getting a sense of they could be next with some of the problems that Westport has dealt with in recent years?
Oh, there's no question. I think when we have these types of events, it's always a topic of conversation. And there's always a little bit of worry that it can escalate and it can get worse. And then you have a major problem, like Westport has had in the past.
What are they saying about, I don't know, I just feel like they've been pretty quiet. You haven't heard a lot from the people that are actually running businesses whose livelihoods, are reliant on the plaza being a safe and welcoming place. Are they afraid to say something? Are they just not there on thinking it's a major problem right now? What is that about?
I think they feel it's not a major problem right now, but I think the concern is that it can develop into something like, you see in San Francisco and Seattle and Chicago. We don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. But right now we're not there. But I think, in my opinion, that we need to take some action to make sure it doesn't get that far.
So would you suggest that they start lobbying a little more and have their voices be heard to the people in charge, city council, whatever it might take to say, hey, we got to knock this off. We got to get this thing on the straight and narrow, because if not, we are going to have some major business impacts and things are going to devolve quickly?
Sure. It never hurts to talk to your city council, to talk to your leaders about your concerns and what you'd like to see done. There's no question about that.
The fact that it is so corporatized, does that make it less likely, though, that would happen? Because I feel like, the corporate entities, they're just going to pick up and leave or shut their door and go somewhere else. They're not going to lobby the city council necessarily, whereas the local business owner, the local restaurateur is more likely to do that.
Well, there's no question about that. If it affects your family and your business and your well-being, then you're going to be more vocal. rather than if you're a manager running a corporate establishment.
What is that? How much does that local versus corporate play into the plaza and its future, and who wants to be down there and who doesn't?
If I understand your question correctly, I think we need a local presence on the plaza. We need local businesses, local restaurants. We need more of that. I think that's what gave the plaza its charm and beauty in the past. And corporate restaurants are nice, but we need more local flavor there, I would say.
Is it the rent being too high? Is it location? What is the main driver for lack of local down there?
I think a couple things. I think over history, I think previous owners of the plaza wanted more of a big city corporate feel, so they went after those types of restaurants. And then I think the cost to be there, no question, keeps a lot of local establishments out.
This might be more, Bill Teel, Executive Director of the Kansas City Restaurant Association. This might be more of a, business question versus in your lane, but I did see in the Kansas City Business Journal, the plaza defaulted on nearly $300 million in debt here this summer. How does that impact restaurateurs down there, if at all, and what does that mean for them?
Well, I think that event in and of itself doesn't impact local businesses on the plaza, but it's kind of a red flag of questioning what is happening down there. What is the state of the business itself, the plaza itself? So when you add it all up, it is worrisome. I don't think the plaza is quite at the level it was, say, 10, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And in Kansas City, we want a strong, vibrant plaza. That's a big part of who we are and what draws people to Kansas City.
Bill Teel, he's the executive director of the Kansas City Restaurant Association on KCMO. Hey, Bill, thanks for being here. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pete. Anytime.
All right, there you go. That's Bill Teel. Appreciate him coming on.